Good morning, everyone. This is Axiom Automaton, and I'm here to teach you everything about organization and automation. Today, I'm going to show you 3 ways to compare dates and times in Airtable. Let's jump in. First, let's add a column here, and we'll call this Start is Before End. And essentially what we want to do here is to check and ensure that our start date time is before our end date time, which should be the case for any event. So let's go down, create a field type of formula, because we're going to need to use an Airtable formula. And the function that we want is called isBefore. Very convenient. And now it takes 2 arguments. The first argument we want to take is start. The second is end. Let's go ahead and create this field. And there we go. So we have a 1, which indicates true in each of these 3 fields because the start is before the end, and we can check that. March 9th at 9 a.m. is before March 9th at 9:30 a.m. March 8th at 2 p.m. is before March 8th at 3:30 p.m. Correct. March 8th at 4 p.m. is before March 8th at 5 p.m. And we can check that this is indeed computing accurately. So let's go ahead and, just for the sake of testing, change this to, let's say, instead of 5 p.m., let's make it 1 p.m. And there we go. Now we have a start date of March 8th time 4 p.m. and an end of March 8th at 1 p.m., which is obviously before the start date. And so we get a 0 over here, just as we expected. Now, the next function that I want to show you guys is after. So we'll say now end is after start. So we're going to do exactly the same check that we just did, but we're going to phrase it a little bit differently. We're going to say end is after start instead of start is before end. But of course, the two are equivalent. So let's go down, create our formula, and the function is just called is after. And we'll do end first this time, since we want to check that the end is after the start. Go ahead and create our field. And there we go. And we have the exact same result as the previous column because, again, these two functions are checking equivalent things. They're just phrased differently. So our first column here says that start is before end. And our second column says that end is after start. So again, entirely equivalent ways of phrasing things, but Airtable does make both functions available. Finally, what we want to do is look at one additional function, and we will call this column equal. Let's go down, create a formula type. And this function is a little bit interesting. So first of all, it's called, or sorry, not is equal, is same. And we will add our first date time, start, and then we'll add end. And now let's check. Now, this is interesting, right? Because we want to check if these two things are the same. The start and end are not the same in any of the columns that we've specified. So let's see what we get. So we get exactly what we expected. 0, 0, 0, because none of the start date times are the same as the end date times. However, with the isSame function, unlike the isAfter and the isBefore functions, we can actually specify a third parameter, which is the granularity of time that we want to compare against. So for example, let's customize our field type. If we want to check that not are these times exactly the same down to the minute or the second, we only want to check if they're the same down to the hour. So is the start time and the end time, do they have the same hour? Even if the time, the specific time is different. And to do that, what we do is just add a third argument here, and we'll put H, stands for hour. And now let's go ahead and save that. And now we see that actually we have a 1 here. So for events 2 and 3, we still have that the start and end date times are different. But for our first task, we see that the start is at 9 a.m., the end is at 9:30 a.m. So even though they're different times, they do have the same hour, which is 9. And therefore, they are the same up to the hour. Now, we can also make this a little bit even more coarse-grained. So let's say that we want to just check that the start and end date times are the same day. So this could be a useful check. For instance, if we want to ensure that our tasks are not accidentally entered with start and end dates on different actual dates. And so if we want to check that they're all started and ended on the same day, then we can make this a D for day. And what this will do is just check that the start and the end date for each event are on the same day. Let's go ahead and save. And now we get all ones because indeed, every time we start an event, it ends on the same day. Thanks so much, you guys. If you guys found this helpful, please like and subscribe. See you next time.